Robbo, can you just give us an update on Tui?
Yeah, look, he seems to be all right. He seems okay. He were off after the game. Didn't feel well. Off after the game and didn't come in Monday. We're off Tuesday, but then he came in yesterday. Don't know if it was something viral. Just a bit of a viral infection that he had, and he seems like he's all right. Yeah, so the doctors checked him over and said, "Yeah, I don't know why it came on so suddenly, but yeah, thankfully it looks like he's okay."
Sounds like it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, look, yeah, whenever a player comes to you just before the game and just says, "Look, I'm not feeling right here. I don't feel right," then obviously, you know, particularly what's happened in the past in rugby league in particular with certain players, then obviously you're ultra precautious, really, aren't you? You want the health is the number one priority in that situation. It was for us as well, and what a really good medical team, and they made sure they looked after him.
We obviously won't see the squad until tomorrow. Is he in contention for the weekend? Yeah,
he's in contention. Once again, there's a fair few doubts. Got a few lads going for scans today. Someone's got to pass his head test. Someone's got to pass his head test. So yeah, but Tui's in contention. Yes.
Someone's got that voodoo doll out again. How different could the team potentially be than at the weekend?
Yeah, it could be quite different once again. Unfortunately, it's just the way it's going at the moment. It's just something of a continuity, should I say, within the side, which never helps. You could do with a little bit of consistency, but that's why you've got a squad, and that's the young lads that we've got within the squad. I think whenever a young lad's put his hand up and played, I think they played exceptionally well and shown that the future's really bright. We obviously don't want to throw them in too early and throw too many of them at once, which on probably occasions we've had to do this year. But yeah, hopefully we'll be better for it, and hopefully that valuable game experience that a lot of them been getting early on, bodes well for future.
I don't blame you for not telling who's doubtful or not, and I don't know whether Tane Milne is one of those, but when would you consider him a potential starter?
Tane's not one of those. Tane's all well and all good, came through the game unscathed. I said before, look, he's a really talented player and he's someone that we're really excited to have in his team. I think he gives a bit of a point of difference. Whether he plays at second row, whether he plays at loose forward, whether he plays in the centre, I think his wing days are over. He gives us a point of difference. He gives us something different in the attack. He gives a bit of punch, a little bit of an offload, and he's something we're really excited about having. But as I said previous, he came over late because obviously the recruitment were done really late last year. He came off the back of a knee clear out, so in rehab when he was with us. When he went back home for the birth of his child, so he'd not even trained with the team until his return. But when he returned, it was a case of actually making sure we didn't want to throw him in re-injure his knee or re-injure himself. So it was a case of building his tolerance back up. We feel like we've built his tolerance up to playing. That doesn't put any miles in your legs or any fitness that everybody else has done. So him not running for sort of however many weeks he didn't run for, he just needs some meters in his legs and needs to get some game time. And hopefully we'll get that with the games that he's playing.
Do you look at the Challenge Cup as being a welcome distraction from Super League, or do you look at it as a viable competition that Huddersfield could go on, could go as far as they possibly can this year?
Oh, look, it's never a distraction. The Challenge Cup, I state this over and over again. The Challenge Cup for English lads is just as important as the league. I know a lot more emphasis gets put on the league, but you lift the Challenge Cup, it's an unbelievable for anybody, and we as a club, we value it just as much as we do the league, and it's a bit of a difficult situation we're going into a little bit. We've got a Challenge Cup on Sunday, then we've got a league game on Thursday straight afterwards, but we're not looking beyond this game. We're looking at this game as solely as a fixture that stands alone, and hopefully we'll put a good showing up and put his best foot forward this week.
How do you assess the challenge ahead?
I think it's a really big challenge. I think they've recruited really well. look, they're a little bit different now at Wakey of what previous teams come up. Promotion and relegation is sometimes very, very difficult for teams that come up. You know, Graveyard, who played with me at Salford, pretty much got relegated 3 years on the trot, because all that happens is there's not that many players to pick from, so the group of players that inevitably get relegated and just sign for the team that come up, and some of the lads that play in the division below don't actually want to go full time because they're on more money. I know it sounds crazy, but you make more money being in the normal world than you probably can do as a rugby league player sometimes. So that being said, Wakey are different. They're different. They've been building. They know they've got. They know they've got. I can't remember his name. Behind the scenes with the kitchen.
Matt Ellis.
Matt Ellis. They've had Matt Ellis, obviously, behind the scenes, really investing not only in the squad but in the setup and everything else. And they were building last year. They were getting a Super League squad ready last year, and they're totally different. I think the recruitment has been great. I think they've shown the first few games of the season they were great against Leeds. You know, they were really good last week against Warrington, and they've shown that they've got quality throughout the side. So it's going to be a really tough opposition. I think they're obviously going to be full of confidence, and it's going to be a tough prospect at Wakefield.
Daryl Powell was saying yesterday, he was talking about the Challenge Cup more broadly. He was saying that, in terms of the prestige of the competition, it needs to be revered, protected, and enhanced to a certain extent. Would you go along with that as well?
100%. As I said earlier, I say it all the time. I grew up watching, in my tape play 101 Great Strides in a Kick, and you just played it over and over again on repeat. That's all I watched, pretty much. That's mum and dad. And you wanted to be, as an English kid, you wanted to go and experience that. And I've been very fortunate to go and experience, a few Challenge Cup tie. One I wasn't playing, and with Wigan, and one I did play and we lost. And I think it needs to be on a pedestal, if not very close to the grand final for me. I don't know how you do that. Sometimes it becomes very difficult in the modern era where people are it's very difficult to fork out for a season ticket, go and watch your team away from home, up and down the M62, over the Catalans, then fork out money on top of that for the Challenge Cup. So I understand it's got its challenges, but I really like the Challenge Cup and everything it brings.
Howley said he didn't know how you do it as well, but he said something needed to be done. Just lastly for me, how do you reflect on 2009? To get to play at Wembley, a lot of players never get anywhere near a Challenge Cup final. You did. What would be obviously, it wasn't a win, but what would be the abiding memory of that day?
I've got really bad memories of it, if I'm honest. I've got really bad memories. I say this all the time to my wife and kids, I don't get poorly. I never ever get poorly. And I did the week before the Challenge Cup final, so I don't know if all them years I jinxed myself really. So when all the boys were experiencing the spa and the hotel before, I was basically, they put me in a bedroom alone by myself. So the experience wasn't very pleasurable. Then one of the abiding memories will be obviously going up to the new Wembley on the coach and seeing all the fans. It's something that, you can never take away. And we went against the red hot Warrington side that day. We were probably playing a lot better rugby than them for the majority of the year. We put ourselves in a really good position within the league. We had some really big scalps. Getting to the finals, probably one of my greatest memories, beating a stacked St Helens side that were unbelievable. The side that they had was it was like the Great Britain side. And for us to go and beat them in the semi-final, that's one of my abiding memories. The actual Challenge Cup itself, then, I've got a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. I'm very thankful that I managed to play in one, but it's not the same. I think it's gathering dust somewhere is the medal somewhere and wanting a draw somewhere.
What a shame. What a shame that is. Thank you, mate. Thanks for reliving that. I'll set you back a few years now in terms of your counselling. I'll pass you over to everyone else, pal. All the best for Sunday.
Thank you.
James O'Brien.
Hi, Robert. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Obviously, don't want to bring this up, but you've led at half-time in every game so far, haven't you, before falling away. Is that becoming a bit of a mental barrier, do you think?
Yeah, look, I got asked this question last week regarding the mental barrier because we are putting ourselves in a really, really good position to win games. We're putting ourselves in. And even though the scoreline, when you look at scoreline last week, anybody who didn't watch the game would just look at that and think we got blown away off the park by a very good Wigan side. And they are a very good Wigan side. When you actually watch the game, you look at it, and for the majority of the first half, we were the dominant side. We did a lot of good things. The second half, though, we do need to get a grip of probably as completions and the way that we manage certain periods of the game. But the first 10 minutes of the second half, I think we went penalty, try, they scored, penalty, they went penalty, 6 again, try, penalty, 6 again. It was just, with the match was on downfall. I think in the second half we had the ball 10 times, 10 sets, didn't complete them all. They had the ball for 22. So if you give Wigan more than half the possession, then it doesn't matter what's up. You know, how good you're defending, how hard you're working for each other. I thought they worked really hard for each other once again, but inevitably possession and energy just get zapped from you. It's something obviously I've addressed this week. I've addressed it in previous weeks. Spoke about it at half time. We've tried different stuff. We've just got to make sure that we go out there with in the right frame of mind, that we actually just continue what we have been doing.
What would a win this weekend do for your season in terms of belief as much as anything?
Yeah, look, I've said it nearly every week, and it is probably people that listen to me getting bored of saying it, but we are actually playing pretty good stuff. We when we're losing players, so when a couple of players come back, we generally lose 2 players, so we've not really had a settled squad. We've definitely not had a settled spine, which makes a huge difference to your game management and the way you play the game. But we keep turning up and we keep working extremely hard for the shirt, for the badge, and for each other. But it does get to the stage where obviously everybody wants a win, and I'd probably swap one of those really good performances for a rubbish performance, but a scrappy win, and just getting 2 points on the board, so we can actually come in and, or not 2 points on the board this week, but get into the next round of the cup, and then continue that on in the league then.
No, good stuff. That's all from me. Thank you very much. All the best for Sunday.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Martin Sadler. No. Go,
Luke. Yeah, sorry about just a bit of delay while I was putting myself on video. If matches only lasted 40 minutes, then you'd be at the top of the league, wouldn't you, I suppose? Can you persuade Nigel Wood to reduce the game from 80 minutes to 40?
Yeah, we'd be top of the league now, wouldn't we? I think we've gone extremely well in for first 40 minutes, and we've probably had, one of the things I've looked at is who we've got on in certain periods and who's combining with who, and but the way that our season's gone regarding injuries, we haven't actually had that much consistency in the side, so it's been different personnel in different periods. But yeah, we just need to. Consistency is the word that I've used over and over again with them. That's something that we need to get from our training sessions into the game, because if we can put a second 40 minutes together like we have the first, then we'll be in a really good position.
It's funny as well, you've mentioned when you played Wigan that, they got loads of momentum in the first 10 minutes of the second half, repetitive penalties and 6 agains and so on. But it all started, didn't it, when they issued a captain's challenge. When Sam Walters was ruled to knock the ball on, they challenged it, and that decision was overturned. One of the relatively few overturned decisions we've seen so far. I just wonder what you think about the captain's challenge, Luke. Are you... because obviously it worked against you there, didn't it? I just wonder whether you're in favour of it or not.
I like it. I think, you know what, if the ref, they're only human at the end of the day, if they do make errors and and you can get the correct decision, I'm all for the correct decision. I'm the same with video refs. People complain about it, but having a second view of it in slower inevitably makes it closer to the truth. You're not always going to get the truth, but whenever we can actually get closer to it, I just think we're better for a game with that. I'd have liked to not to have captain's challenge that one, because we'd had a good 40 minutes, we'd have been in there 20.
Yeah.
We didn't touch the ball in for, I think, about 10 minutes after that. So, I didn't like it on that occasion.
Have you had any successful captain's challenges yourself as a club yet?
We've had a few inconclusive, which I think should have been right, and I think we've had two where we deemed that Sam Hewitt, he got taken off the ball. And they could have said it was simultaneous, but he got the ball through him against Hull. Another really close fought game we could have won, and we've had two inconclusive, which I think have been really harsh to Huddersfield Giants, but yes,
that's how it goes.
The way it goes for us.
Obviously, with Tui not playing at the weekend, you put George there, George Flanagan. Are you happy with his progress? He's turned out a few times now. Obviously, with injuries elsewhere in the squad, do you think he's coming on well?
Oh, look, I think George's been fantastic for us, for a young lad. It's very easy. It's not easy, should I say, to come into a squad and a side when there's no continuity anyway. So just bringing one lad in a well-oiled machine that's ticking, and each player's playing regular 80 minutes every week or was in the squad, it's a lot easier for a young lad to come in. He's coming to our side when we are making multiple changes each and every week through injuries and other things. So it's been very disruptive for him to come in, and I think he's done a valiant job, really, going in. He's played a lot of his rugby at fullback as a junior. I'm not sure he's going to be a fullback yet or an half. There's also a lot of areas of his games that he needs to work on, which I'm constantly talking to him about. But he's a bit of a rugby league nerd. He loves rugby league. His dad, obviously, he's grown up watching his dad play. He's in a rugby family, so he gets the game, he understands it. There's areas of his game that he needs to work on, and we're trying to get them and get him up to speed as quickly as we can. And he knows that. But I think he's done a good job since when he's come in.
Yeah, do you think he's got a good career in front of him?
Oh, I do, definitely. Yeah, look, like every half, every young fullback, you're always, Cooper Cronk talks about all the time. You get your kicking game right, you get your defence right, and everything else will come off the back of it. The best halves. George Williams is Great Britain captain, England captain, because he can defend. He's a great defender. He can kick the ball well. And everything else when it comes to being an half-back is something, you can learn and improve on. And if George keeps working on those two aspects of his game, then I'm sure that, he's got a big future in front of himself.
Okay, mate. Well, good luck this weekend, and great to speak to you again, as always.
Thank you very much.
Gary Carter.
Hi, Luke. You all right?
All right, guys. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm actually wondering, after that tale of JD you told before, whether it was talking to me that made you ill in 2009.
I can't remember what the reason was, mate. I don't know if you was ill. I hope it wasn't you that was ill.
I wasn't ill at the time, I think, anyway.
Yeah. I don't get ill. I did that.
I wasn't me, oh, bloody hell. I've ruined his Wembley week. Oh, bloody hell. No. Just a quick one on Tui. Was it a case of getting tipped over at a hospital first? Or was it all done through your club doctor? Obviously,
we've got the doctor there on hand. The doctor's there always at games. He's there and ready to go. And obviously checked him over. And obviously, it's very difficult to do it before the game. But he did it before the game, and did a longer, bigger investigation at the end of the game. We had a little bit more time with him, and then obviously checked in on him the next day, and the day after that. And by all accounts, it's nothing too serious.
I suppose Tui himself is as nonplussed as anyone as said how it happened and what caused it.
Yeah, and particularly with Tui's personality, he's pretty relaxed character at the best of times anyway. So obviously we've got the doctor's really good, really diligent, and made sure that, and obviously making sure that he's all right. Fingers crossed that's still the case, which we think it is.
You spoke before about the prestige of the Challenge Cup. Do you feel as though in recent years that prestige has maybe dropped a bit?
Potentially, like as I said before, that every kid's dream to walk down Wembley Way without the coach, or not walk down it, we go on the coach when everyone else is outside, and you see a packed out stadium and everybody's going nuts, and you want it to get back to that, and I to my players tell them how important it is each and every year that it's an important cup, and Darryl Powell spoke about it as well. The prestige that we want to be attached to it. I'm not sure how you do that. It's in the current climate, 'cause a lot of it's a lot about getting fans to buy into it and make it magical and make it special. And sometimes I said it's very hard for fans at the moment in time to buy a season ticket to follow your up and down the M62 corridor away games, and then obviously go and fork out extra money in the Challenge Cups as well. I don't know if it's something that we can look at regarding reduced ticket prices or putting events on before. I don't know, but then obviously that, again, you'll know more than anyone else what's going on at Salford and everybody else, that it goes into the same pot, and you're asking the same group of people for the same money all the time. So yeah, it's something I definitely wish we could keep and enhance, but I understand it's got its challenges.
And obviously, just following on for that, you obviously played Hunslet in the last round, and there was a few sort of arguments as to why Super League teams shouldn't come in round earlier. But do you feel as though bringing the clubs in around, Super League clubs in round earlier, has helped add to that, like almost like an FA Cup sort of thing, like you see Tamworth play Tottenham in the cup,
I do, mate. I think, Bradford beating Cass division below. Now, don't get me wrong, Bradford have got an extremely good squad in the division below, but it was an upset, and and fans get excited by upsets. Inevitably a lot of neutral fans always root for the underdog, don't they? So whenever these are a chance of an upset, it brings a little bit of magic to the cup. I also feel like I like the fact that you're giving a bit of money back, to the lower clubs. I know my team Siddle played against Wakefield the year before, and they played it at Siddle, and what a momentous occasion that was for some of the Siddle lads to play against some full-time athletes, but also get a bumper crowd in and get some money behind the bar afterwards. So I'm all for it.